Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker chills, desolate search peasants, vassals, dirty launderers, spy masters. I'm a useful idiot, and today we're going to stay on the theme of surveillance. And interestingly enough, it turns out that the United States government is already spying on all the electronic communications of federal workers, pretty much every single one. And this goes right in line with a video I just did recently, which I'll attach below, about insider threat, an executive order by Barack Obama, where basically employees are supposed to be spying on each other. Well, as it turns out, the government's already spying on all of them anyway, and probably is using a lot of the same behavior identification software that the rest of the surveillance and intelligence community uses. So as it turns out that government monitors all federal workers' computers and telecommunications. It's really that simple. And like I say, this is relevant now because of surveillance in general, and the revelation about this insider threat program, and then also another recent story about the fact that all military computers will be blocking the UK news outlet, The Guardian, for publishing all the Snowden articles. So now the military can they can censor that one site, that one news source. So imagine what kind of technology the government has to censor and or surveil all of their employees. So anyway, this story broke because the FDA were spying on agency scientists who were installing monitoring software on all laptops, effectively capturing all communications. So this is what this technology does. It's installing monitoring software on all laptops, effectively capturing all communications. And this software is sold by a company called SpectreSoft out of Florida. And they have a software called Spectre 360. It's kind of sinister sounding. And spokesman for the company said that, quote, every activity in complete detail, and that's what the company brags about, every activity in complete detail can be intercepted and recorded. And this story broke because the scientists were complaining to lawmakers and others about medical devices they thought were dangerous. So once again, we have another story where there isn't really a leak, and it's not even really compromising national security and or a criminal activity, and yet this technology will be used to address internal leaks and shutting down whistleblowers. So emails are intercepted, and it can be programmed to intercept a tweet or a Facebook post as well. And it can snap screenshots of the computer. It can even track an employee's keystrokes, retrieve files from hard drives, and search for keywords. So once again, we're finding another story that corroborates the fact that they are going through the content and not just who's talking to who, when, for how long. And the government agencies outside of intelligence spent $5.6 billion in fiscal 2011 to safeguard classified information. So this is very expensive considering how ineffective it apparently is. $5.6 billion just in 1 year to protect what they consider sensitive information. And experts say virtually every arm of the government conducts some form of sophisticated electronic monitoring. And there's no surprise there. Just as we now know, every single country in the world probably has some sort of sophisticated surveillance program. Now we find out, of course, every government agency in the United States has some form of sophisticated electronic monitoring. So it's safe to say that every single federal employee is being monitored at all times. Once again, it begs the question, how can some of these events like Snowden even happen? And just as usual, we have a government spokesman, this time Rob Carey, the Defense Department's principal deputy chief information officer. And he came out and said, quote, nobody's reading anybody's email here. The FDA case would not have happened here in the Defense Department. We have rules in place. There has to be probable cause. It appears that there was monitoring going on that shouldn't have been, unquote. So what a poser, what a liar, fronting for their own surveillance programs. And federal workers actually see a banner whenever they log onto their computers that's telling them that they have no reasonable expectation of privacy, and their personal email accounts are monitored, as well as government phones, government iPads, and other devices. So they know right off the bat they're being told they're being watched. So that's got to create a great environment of paranoia and suspicion and mistrust as well, which will go right along with that new insider threat program requiring you to be spying on your coworkers and or be prosecuted yourself. And agencies are not required to inform employees they are being monitored. So the fact that they do, to a certain degree, is something they are not required to do. If they want people to know, to self-censure. And so that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of people that are probably spied on that don't think they are. All that would be naive. And then there's another quote from Tom Clare, who works for another company called WebSense, and they also sell web filtering software to dozens of federal agencies. And he said, quote, "The general policy right now is if a personal device accesses any agency information, it adopts the profile of a government-issued device." And then he went on to say, quote, "They're going to monitor everything," unquote. So he knows right away that this software is used to monitor everything that federal employees are doing, and that they legitimize accessing employees' private communications as well, because they are using it to access their government sites. So that's the justification they use. And the fact, too, that Tom Clare goes on to say, quote, "We have customers that don't want to let their employees know because they want to see their true habits," unquote. So these federal employees that don't think they are being watched, just like in any workplace, if they don't think they're being watched, will probably be unleashing all sorts of bizarre, aberrant behavior. So anyway, under federal laws, it is up to each agency to set policies on what can be monitored, and officials have complete discretion what to review and why. So once again, that goes hand in hand with the insider threat program, where each agency is able to independently set its own specific parameters for spying on each other. So now it turns out that each one of those agencies also has a wide range of discretion on spying on their employees. And needless to say, that opens an entire can of worms, both legal and non-legal issues. And officials said they are simply trying to detect suspicious activity and are not trying to snoop. Of course, that's what they'd say. Then one spokesman went on to say, quote, "We are looking for what we call indicators of compromise. We're monitoring a system, not everybody in that environment," unquote. So once again, the government spokesmen and these politicians can smoke screen and say they're not looking for, they're not monitoring people, they're monitoring a system, which the system, of course, is comprised of people. In fact, the TSA specifically requested that they must not have the ability to detect this technology. They must not have the ability to kill the process or service. So when this government agency, the TSA, requested this sort of software, they specifically wanted to make sure nobody would know, nobody would be able to find out about it, nobody would be able to analyze it, and nobody would be able to interrupt it. And the TSA official, when asked about this, said the monitoring software would not be used to target whistleblowers. Of course not. Why would it be? He said, quote, "It's about protecting the sensitive nature of the transportation security mission," unquote. Some more bullshit government stonewalling. And there was a case actually that showed how this system will actually work, and that was the Maritime Commission is recently under investigation for allegedly spying on personal emails of several employees who merely had gripes against their managers. And they used, the same SpectreSoft software. So there we have it. The real meat and potatoes of what will happen. Supposedly spying on all federal employees for national security purposes, and have had that ability for quite some time. So once again, makes one question what is going on with these leaks if they're monitoring most federal employees and most people connected to the federal government all the time anyway. And then the fact that in reality we're going to see this system used for a lot of just garden variety infractions, just like the insider threat program. People griping about their bosses and people being a little demoralized and having financial problems or having problems in relationships, the kind of things that every single human on the entire planet has issues with. But when you're in your workplace, that's going to be suspicious activity. So there we have it. We have the entire government not only spying on each other, but the government, of course, spying on all of its own employees. And a continuing series on surveillance from a useful idiot. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too. And remember, if I agree with you, then we'd both be wrong.